Hello folks, this is Steve AB4L. I'm going to retrace my steps. Let's have a little fun. I hope this will be good for a laugh. Nothing in this episode is a promotion nor is it a recommendation, and you know that one of my favorite tabs is /. News for Nerds. So I'm looking and this one caught my eye because AI is the big thing. I have an AI playlist. I guess this will go on it. More than 10,500 artists unite in fight against AI companies' unjust use of creative works. More than blah, 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 including blah, 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 signed a statement condemning AI companies' alleged unauthorized use of creative works for training their models. The initiative, led by former AI executive demands an end to unlicensed training data collection amid mounting legal challenges against tech firms. Oh, I thought I was going to open it to the place I'm interested in. There it is. So here's the statement. Now it's up to 11,500. See, that was out of date. Statement on AI training. The unlicensed use of creative works for training generative AI is a major unjust threat to the livelihoods of the people behind the works and must not be permitted. Sign the statement. We will add your name and profession to the public list of signatories. Remember, I'm not promoting anything. I'm working my way towards something. We will only use your email address for verification. We won't publish your email address or send you marketing emails. View all 11,000 signatories. So there's right here, I've got writer, author, photographer, painter, DBE, that's English. Something of the British Empire. So when I'm looking at these names, for some reason, as I'm looking at this list of names, now here's the deal. I don't own a television set. I haven't owned a television set in over 20 years. The one I threw away was working and perfectly okay. The first television program I ever saw in our home on our brand new television was in 1954. And before that, I used to go downstairs to my cousin's and watch Howdy Doody and Kukla, Fran and Ollie and Flash Gordon. Earlier than that. So I got to a certain point in my life where I figured it's a waste of time because it's all repetitious. It's good for young people who haven't seen the repetition yet. Same thing for going to the movies. All right? I'm giving you some background. So I'm looking at these names, and right off the top, in the top of the list, the only name that I actually recognize personally, without a hint, is Kevin Bacon. And I can't remember what the movie was I saw him in. Kevin Bacon, Wikipedia. When I saw him in a movie, he looked about like that. But that's that's 2015. I'm just trying to see which one it was. They're naming some of the... I don't remember. Footloose. That's what it was. There it is. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one I saw him in. I might have seen him in something else, but I really don't remember. I remember him in that movie. What year is that? 1984. I was in Missouri. Okay. Now to get to the point. His age is 66. He was born in 1958 in Philadelphia. So then what I did was, well, I lived in Philadelphia. I lived in Philadelphia in the 1960s to early 1970s. He was born in 1958. So immediately what goes on is he was just a kid up to just about a teenager when I was living there. You got that? After I dropped out of college, after a year and a half, then I worked for a year and some, and then my very first roommate from India, who had also dropped out, had moved to Philadelphia, and he said, why don't you come down and visit? And I made the decision that I would move to Philadelphia, quit the job I was having, move to Philadelphia and try my hand there. And we roomed together. We had an apartment together in the Germantown section of Philadelphia. I'm just setting the stage. So Bacon was about 4 years old when I moved to Philadelphia. All right. So I'm reading his early life and education. He was born and raised in a close-knit family in Philadelphia. He was the youngest of 6 children. His mother, taught at an elementary school, while his father, and it names him, was an urban planner who also served as executive director of the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. Actually, that would occasionally make the news every now and then. And authored the seminal text Design of Cities. Okay, so he comes from a brainy family. Well, here's the next paragraph in single sentence. He attended the Julia R. Masterson School in Spring Garden section of Philadelphia. I lived in Germantown. In the Spring Garden section, that's near Center City. It's sort of in Center City, just north of City Hall, for both middle school and high school. So middle school would be 7th grade or 6th grade. Let's say 6th grade. So he would be about 11 years old. So it said he was born in 1958, so 59, 69. Oh, all right, close enough. I just missed him. I just missed him. Watch. Watch. I just missed him. I might have walked past him on the street if he had just been born a couple of years earlier. I might have walked past him on the street as he was going to school. Watch. All right? I want you to see the face of the building. That's the Masterson School, Philadelphia. What's the name of that street right there? It's in the Spring Garden section of Philadelphia, and it's on Spring Garden Street. Watch. See, these things have been happening to me all of my life. Watch. Masterson is ranked first in the school district of Philadelphia and in the state of Pennsylvania. Is considered one of the best college preparatory public schools in the country. It's been named for this in News and World Report and blah, 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 blah. It's one of the most difficult schools to get into in the country. At least they're talking about it now. It's a middle and secondary school located in Philadelphia. It's a magnet school, ranked 4th best high school in the nation. Located in the Spring Garden neighborhood. Prior to 1958, well, he was born in 58, the building was used by the Philadelphia High School for Girls. And that's probably the way I actually remember it. Why would I remember it? Now, it's a famous place, so we do this. And I always like to use Google Maps. Now, the first thing I did is I did the street view. Now, watch what happens. They're using the coordinates. This is an AI rant also. Doesn't anybody actually check what they're putting there? Does this look like this? Or does it look like the rear end of the, or does it look like possibly the rear end of that building? So why don't we go to the front of the building? All right? Humans are still smarter than those damn AI computers. Now you're wondering, where's this going? And actually, I think I do remember this. I've turned it so that we're looking east. It says State Route 2006. The name of this street is Spring Garden Street. This is Spring Garden Street. Now there's the school that Kevin Bacon went to. See how it changes over here? I used to work in that building. That was Smith, Klein and French. Smith, Klein and French, 15th and West Spring Garden Street. See, it's 1500. It goes all the way to the corner. Now, that's not where they are now. Now it's GlaxoSmithKline, and they've got a big building like that, but down in South Philadelphia on Passyunk Avenue. But when I was in Philadelphia and working here and earlier, I used to go down to Passyunk Avenue to get used car parts, because all of that down there was car junkyards. But you know, as the city gets really hot, real estate values go up, and you can't pay the taxes on junk cars sitting out there in what were old meadows long, long ago in colonial times. So they cover it over and they build a big pharmaceutical company on it. Wonder if the ground's contaminated. Who knows what was sitting here in colonial times? Oh, wait a minute. Now, okay, see, my mind wanders, but I'm just taking you on a look. How I'm reading this, I go here, I'm just looking down the top names they have there, and literally the only one I recognize is Kevin Bacon. And I decide to go and look him up on, and it turns out I was wondering where he was from. He's from Philadelphia. So then I was wondering where in Philadelphia he's from, but it doesn't tell you, but it tells you where he went to school, and it was 2 blocks away from where I worked in 1967. In 1967, before I went to Israel, quit there and went to Israel after the 6-Day War. Now, you remember I was saying I was making fun of, this used to be Smith, Klein and French, and it went through a number of successive names, Smith, Klein, Beckham, and Beckman, and now it's GlaxoSmithKline. I've met, when I lived in the Raleigh area and I used to go fishing, I met some people who work at GlaxoSmith, researchers at GlaxoSmithKline in RTP years ago. So you keep bumping into. How do I keep bumping into? What's the chance that if I work there, go all that traveling, come in, start living in North Carolina, and I meet some people who work for the down the road company that this became? It's like, are they following me around? And then I read this today, and he went to high school 2 blocks, but it was Philadelphia Girls High School. Now that I read that bit, now it falls into place. But they changed over and, oh, wait a minute. I was making fun of the fact that the new GlaxoSmithKline was built on the old auto junkyards down. They were huge. There were no tall buildings down there. Hang on, I'm going to show you two things. See, my mind wanders. See, GlaxoSmithKline, images. There it is. That's in Philadelphia. Why'd they do that? What were they doing? I want the picture. Oh, here we go, Wikipedia. There we go. All right? And this is, And, oh, that's the building in London. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let's get it right. GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, HQ. There it is. There it is. My apologies. Look at the grass. Look at the pond. Is it 3 years ago? Somebody did a picture of it 3 years ago. Hang on. What a beautiful building. GlaxoSmithKline relocates U.S. operations. Now let's get back to Spring Garden Street. Let me close some of these tabs. See, I just let my mind wander. Okay, here we go. Now let's look around. I made fun of what was there before. And then when we started coming this way, you see how I did this. You see those buildings there, which is actually quite a contrast to this. So this says that when that building, see now it's all other kinds of businesses. When this building was built, this is what across the street looked like, which were row homes, and which were already like 100 years old, and it was easy to buy them up and demolish them. But what was there, and same thing for putting the girls high up here. So, what was here before that? Now look, if we just go out here to Broad Street, this is Broad Street right here, and we turn this way, there's City Hall. And I think this is Hahnemann Hospital. It used to be. I'm guessing it is. There's City Hall. That's Center City. Market Street this way, Broad Street north and south that way, City Hall. So, somewhere around the year 1900, what was here? What was here? Let's see if we can find out. The Tenderloin section and history in Philadelphia. I haven't looked this up before. This is something I remember from a couple of years back. The Encyclopedia of Greater Philadelphia. Tenderloin. This was part of the Tenderloin. Now, I had a physician in Philadelphia when I lived in Germantown. His office was in Germantown. He said, you know what was down there when I was a boy? That part of Philadelphia was known as the Tenderloin. And actually, now I was young and naive. I thought he meant it's where rich people live. Tenderloin steak. Where I grew up and worked in the A&P, a tenderloin was the most expensive steak you could buy. So this map, a map of Skid Row in Philadelphia, there's Ridge Avenue, There's Race Street. I used to work around 9th and Race, 10th Race. There's Arch Street. But up here is, these are closer to City Hall, and up here is Spring Garden Street, which was right on the edge of what they're showing here, of Skid Row. But what year? My physician said that he grew up in the Tenderloin district of Philadelphia before his rich uncle said to him one day, "If you'll just cut out being a playboy, I'll send you to medical school." And he sent him to medical school in Tennessee. That's what my doctor told me. In the final decades of the 1800s, like 1880s, 1890s, a vice district, what is a vice district? What's a vice district? A vice district emerged just north of Philadelphia's center city. Bound by 6th Street on the east and 13th Street on the west, Race Street to the south and Callow Hill Street to the north, this neighborhood was called the Tenderloin. So it was touching on where my doctor grew up on West Spring Garden Street, where apparently his uncle had a business. And I'm going to let you guess what the business was. That his rich uncle wanted to get him out of there and make him do something real in life. So he sent him to medical school. The neighborhood was called the Tenderloin, like similar districts in many other cities of the era. Tenderloin, encompassing Philadelphia's cheap amusement district, as well as its tiny Chinatown. I told you I worked at 9th and 10th, between 9th and 10th in Chinatown. Housed as many as 250 pool rooms, gambling resorts, saloons, opium dens, and brothels by the close of the 19th century. In other words, that's where all the whorehouses were. And where you went for drugs and illegal alcohol and whatever. That's where he grew up. And his rich uncle, he didn't tell me what his uncle actually did for a business. He just said his rich uncle. He grew up in the Tenderloin district, and his rich uncle wanted to get him out of there. So he said, if you'll stop being a playboy. Now, what does that say about what my... See, do you think that Kevin Bacon might have been like a playboy when he was a teenager too? Down in the same area? No, you think I'm pulling your leg on that? Hang on. Hang on. You'll see what I mean. All right, so we're going to go back to the Wikipedia article about Kevin Bacon. At age 16, in 1975, oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking 67. At age 16 in 1975, Bacon won a full state-funded scholarship to Pennsylvania Governor's School for the Arts at Bucknell University in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, a 5-week arts program where he studied theater under, and that experience solidified his passion for the arts. Now that's at age 16. Now look at what it says here. Bacon left home at age 17 to pursue a theater career in New York. You think he was a playboy? The dandy man around? What do you think? where he appeared in a production at the Circle in the Square Theater School. I wanted life, man, the real thing, he later recalled to somebody from Cosmopolitan. The message I got was the arts are it. Business is the devil's work. Art and creative expression are next to godliness. Combine that with immense ego and you wind up with an actor. And my physician's rich uncle wanted him to get him out of the Tenderloin because he thought he was too smart and too good to just go downhill in there. And in a way, that sounds like Kevin Bacon. Think about it. Because they don't say what neighborhood he was from. It really... All right, now I'm going to guess. Wait a minute. See, I'm really straying, but I have fun doing this. Map of Philadelphia. There's Philadelphia. Okay. So the place we're talking about in the Tenderloin is approximately here. I lived approximately here. And if his father was some big shit, then his father probably lived up here in Mount Airy or way up here in the Northeast, up here in the Northeast. Now, what's up in the Northeast today is different than what it was then. But so Bacon wasn't from the Tenderloin. But, you know, things hang over. Is that the reason why that art school was down there? That kind of... So look, my mind is straying around. I almost could have passed him on the street going out to lunch to one of the restaurants across the street as he's walking from school to the subway to go up and then catch the trolley up to Mount Airy. Up. Steve A. before you, just having fun. By the way, did you vote yet? I voted today. By the way, did you get your COVID booster yet? I got mine today. That's probably why I'm crazy. I got my COVID booster and I voted. Steve A. before you, just having fun. Saying see you in 73.